Welcome to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, coming to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Call us today at 843-957-3872.
Happy New Year, and as we get the year started, let's get your financial picture in focus by getting a budget and getting those spending habits looked at. Reach out to me at coachwesc@gmail.com and we'll get you off to a good start.
This segment is sponsored by Bobby Clary State Farm. Call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right. To our newest quick clip episode of the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist, and I am Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist. So
we're
this time
try to stay on topic.
Yeah, this time I'm going to jump straight into what we're talking about today. I don't know where this conversation is going to go. We might not even be able to post it. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we might get.
We'll see how it goes.
I do need to keep my job. So
yeah, me too. I don't want to lose my real estate license. So today we're going to talk about a pretty controversial subject that a lot of people have varying opinions on. The gender pay gap and gender inequalities, I guess, across the board. So you hear a lot of people talk about that men are treated better than women, and that there's a lot of inequalities. I tend to think that there might be some inequalities out there, but I don't think it's as vast as people would lead you to believe. I don't know where you stand on it. We didn't really prep for this one, so I don't know.
It's always the best kind, right?
Yeah,
never know what's going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know. On certain subjects, maybe you should prep. We should prep ahead of time because it could go down take a turn for the worst. But anyway, starting with, I know we had some stuff pulled up about the pay gap.
Yeah, pay gap.
So do you feel that? I mean, based off of what you see online, do you think there's a unfair, like a disproportionate gap in pay between men and women?
No.
Just no. No. Okay. All right. So
what happens is you take this mass data.
Yep.
And you look at how much men are being paid for this year and how much women are being paid for this year. That's where the gap comes from.
Right.
And there is a gap there. And it's 83 cents. I think the last one here I see is 83 cents. Usually about 82 cents on the dollar for men.
Okay.
But then when you start to explain this, when nobody wants to listen, because then you get down to weeds and people don't want to hear that.
Got it.
But I will start out by telling you that research has been done, and when you take a woman who leaves college with a certain degree and a man who leaves the college with a certain degree, and they never leave their career and they both pursue their career, that women make more than men when they reach in their 40s.
Okay.
It's literally apples to apples.
Okay.
And when you run this, just Dr. Soul did a bunch of these tests. When they both are on level field, women actually end up outperforming men.
Okay.
Now, I know people listening to this probably screaming like, "Oh, that's not true." Well, prove me wrong then, but I've got studies I can show you that's what the truth is. The problem happens a lot of times, and a guy named Jacob Clifford online, one of my economic sources, he does a very good job explaining this. In our society, women are thought of as the caregivers.
Right.
And so a lot of times they take off to have children, they take care of them at home, and so they leave the workforce and come back in.
Right.
And so then when you look at people in the same area, then there is a pay gap because usually men end up having more experience than the women.
Right.
So they get paid more for their experience. But every field is going to be different. And I noticed AI came up and said women face discrimination in the workplace for every stage of their lives. For example, women are steered away from STEM education. Well, the last 20 years, women have not been steered away from STEM. In fact, there's been an overall effort to bring them into the STEM. And we've done a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah.
But still, you have these, and Jacob Clifford calls it the caregiver penalty. So, because if you take a man who takes off of work and goes home to take care of children, women, and the wife still works. I actually, in my family, I have this situation. The man will come back to less money when he comes back to the workforce.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're saying a lot of it is family dynamics that make these numbers kind of skewed in our culture.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So you're saying there's really no pay gap, that the numbers are a little skewed based off of culture.
Because if you, like I said, if you have a man and woman who left college or even entered a career together, as they moved through, the woman actually ends up doing better than the man.
Right.
Which I'd love to. We don't have enough data really to explore that dynamic, but I'd like to know more.
Right.
Why women seem to outperform men.
Yeah.
And obviously not every profession is the same. But
of course.
In general, we see women outperforming men when they don't step away.
I got you. I would say in sales jobs, I think women tend to outperform men. Like in real estate, I know probably more like consistently successful, like year by year, women in this business than I do men.
Yeah.
And it's in a career where you can't really discriminate because it's all commission. It's like how hard and good do you want to work?
Yeah.
There's nobody's paying you. You're paying you. You know. So
discrimination would come up with people not wanting to deal with women realtors, I guess.
That would be the only. Yeah, I guess that could be the only discrimination.
But we
I've
actually
never
had a woman realtor before we had you, so I don't think we had equal opportunity
yeah,
for us.
I actually had a client recently though. An elderly lady who wasn't comfortable working with men, and I referred her to somebody else in my office. So I've seen it go the other way, and I didn't feel discriminated. I was like, all right, she's just, she's older lady. She doesn't trust men. I feel I'm pretty trustworthy, but if she's more comfortable working with a woman, I'm not going to tell her no.
Yeah.
I wonder how it would go the opposite way, but if it was like a guy, I was like, I don't want to work with her, but.
Oh, that would not be.
I don't know if it would look as. I don't know if it would look as good on paper. I instantly understood it. Was like, okay, I'll work with that agent. We'll figure out a referral, and it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. But I would be curious to see how it would go the other way. I think some people just get a little too bent out of shape and don't really read into the actual statistics and just go, right off the top.
Yeah,
of the head.
I mean, even my college, we have. I know of classes that teach the gender gap, pay gap as fact.
Right.
Without digging into the numbers.
Yeah.
Because if you just look at the top numbers, yes. Overall, if you look at men's salary for last year versus women's salary for last year, yeah, men make more.
Right.
But you also have men who are working. I mean, I don't see a lot of women doing underwater welding.
Right.
Don't see a lot of women on the boats up in Alaska doing king cat. I mean,
right. Some of the more dangerous jobs.
But I also
you
don't see a lot of men doing jobs that are normal, what women enjoy doing.
Right. So, not a lot of male nurses.
No, it's a lot more than it used to be, but it's still not a lot.
Yeah. I think women are really good in roles where nurses have to be very nurturing and compassionate.
Yeah.
In general, I think
I wouldn't do well at that.
I'm not as compassionate as my mom.
Right.
I think she would be great as a nurse. I think some people.
But you're being sexist right now.
I mean, if you think having compassion is a bad trait in a woman, then I guess I'm sexist. Yeah.
You've seen Charlie Kirk talk about this, right?
I've seen him talk about it a lot. I don't know if I've heard him talk about the gender pay gap and stuff before. I can't cite specific things he said.
There was one girl who was all up on him, and he said something like, she says, so you don't think men and women are equal? He's like, no. Oh, and you could just see her. Yeah. He's like, no, there's a lot of things women can do a lot better than I can.
Right.
And she's like, wait a minute, what? And it's true though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. True. Yeah. Yeah, I think obviously, when it comes to this kind of goes back to the women or men and women's sports. We're biologically different. Men are typically going to, because of their strength and stamina and endurance and their build and the testosterone, they're going to be typically better at athletic sports than women. Yeah. Or any type of any athletic training or strength training or anything. And I don't think that makes women inferior. It's just biology. I don't know why that's such a controversial thing.
I really don't either.
But there's plenty of things women are generally more organized. I'm a very unorganized person. Most assistants are women because they're very organized and they're way better at minute keeping track of everything, keeping files organized. Yeah. I would never have a male assistant because I think it'd be a total waste because I would just have another me. And so there's a lot of things women are just better at, and it goes the other way too.
It's all individual too. I mean,
when
I was in college at UNC Wilmington, I had a friend. She and I would play tennis together. She whipped my butt every time. Yeah. And I was pretty athletic back then. I mean, I was playing softball and basketball and all, but she was good.
Yeah.
So I think we generalize things way too much.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, everything should be on an individual basis. We definitely generalize things too much. So I guess I want to wrap it up with this because I know this is a quick clip. So I just want it on the record. Wes does not think men and women are equal. Is that can we end there?
Yeah. Women do a lot of things better than I do.
No, agreed. And I praise them for it. The women in my life that do a lot of things for me, it's stuff that I couldn't do as well as they do, and I would never not admit that. That's,
yeah. So I mean, when you say that, you automatically think, well, men just think they're better than. No, I just mean we're not equal. We're made different, and obviously my faith plays into this. God made us with our own innate characteristics, but do we see crossover? Yeah, I mean everybody's different.
So basically what we're saying is men and women aren't equal, but that doesn't mean inferior. There's not an there's not.
I don't
inferior,
think there's one inferior to the other.
Right.
No,
So
definitely not.
Yeah, probably. I feel like we.
Of course,
probably
by now
need to
we've ticked
elaborate.
off enough people. Nobody's listening.
Yeah, nobody made it to this part. They're going to take the one clip of where you just said men and women aren't equal, and that's it.
And then
4-second clip. Yeah, perfect.
Fortunately, we're not big enough yet to worry about that.
Right, exactly. Well, I guess
once we get big enough, that people have to take these offline.
You're right. We're gonna have to pull them off like people like when they go and have to delete their Twitter because they put too much stuff on there 10 years ago. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap up with that before we get in any more trouble. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit BobbyClary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right.
Eisenhower Dental, located at 107 Waccamaw Medical Park Drive in Conway. A place where you can find all your dental services, including general dentistry, cosmetic, restorative, and pediatric dentistry. Reach out to them today at their website, eisenhowerdental.com, or call them at 843-234-3110. 843-234-3110, and tell them Wes the Economist sent you.
Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family-owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872. Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at DollarsCentsGS and on Facebook at Dollars and Cents.